Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today's topic is pretty simple: the upcoming Harry Potter TV reboot and every controversy surrounding it. Between unexpected casting choices, creative reinterpretations, and the ongoing debate over J.K. Rowling's involvement, the series has already managed to polarize the Harry Potter fandom, especially amid rumors of a gender-swapped Dark Lord and questions about how faithful this adaptation will actually be. And this is years before we've even seen a single episode. In total, there are 4 controversies I want to touch on, starting with franchise fatigue. Since the original announcement of the show, I've seen a lot of people, fans and critics, asking the same question. Do we really need another version of this story? One Redditor said, "Remake fatigue is very real. A growing amount of audiences in general are getting sick of all of these close copies of existing IP." And an article from The Express stated that many people are puzzled about its purpose. And what's interesting is that most of these concerns aren't actually about how the show will be made. They're about why it's being made at all. So not only is the show filmed in the same place as the movies and has near identical costume to the movies, but it's also reusing cast members from the movies. Genuinely, what's the point of this? Original films these days are just croutons in a Hollywood buzzword salad. Reboots and remakes. And the Harry Potter series certainly isn't the first franchise to face this kind of skepticism. Recent modernized reboots like Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Little Mermaid, Willow, Velma, and even The Rings of Power all saw heavy criticism. Not necessarily because they were badly made, but because many felt they were unnecessary. And in an age of what feels like constant reimaginings, it seems like many fans are starting to clue into the fact that they'd prefer new stories rather than retellings of the ones they already know by heart. For a series as universally beloved as Harry Potter, that pressure is magnified tenfold. In other words, this reboot arrives at a time when the appetite for redoing old classics is arguably lower than ever. Now, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have the same thoughts, but while I am a die-hard Potterhead, I can't help but maintain cautious optimism about the whole thing. On one hand, I completely understand the skepticism. It's easy to look at this as another cash grab remake, but on the other hand, I'm choosing to approach it as a reimagining, an opportunity to maybe give us something we've never had before. Criticism and curiosity can coexist. You're not betraying the fandom by watching with a critical eye. In fact, watching informs your opinion far more than boycotting ever would. I can still enjoy this series as a reinterpretation, the same way I enjoyed Fantastic Beasts or even Hogwarts Legacy. It just has to be treated as a separate entity, one that exists alongside the originals rather than replacing them. It's entirely segmented in my mind. And honestly, if I don't adopt that mindset, it'll only sour the experience. And the truth is, the show actually has a lot going for it. For starters, there's the fact that Warner Bros. Seem to be taking this project very seriously, reportedly planning to spend over £3 billion across the full run of the series. If true, that would make it the most expensive production ever made, surpassing Game of Thrones, The Rings of Power, and even the biggest blockbuster films in history. There's also the runtime. Allegedly, each season will feature 6 episodes, 1 per book, bringing the total to 42. Assuming each runs 60 to 90 minutes, that's up to 63 hours of storytelling. The original 8 films, by comparison, total just under 20 hours, meaning this adaptation could be nearly 3 times longer. And that's a huge win for pacing and detail. Instead of cramming 500-page novels into 2-hour movies, the story finally gets room to breathe. Things like Spew, the full Marauder's backstory, and smaller character arcs might finally get the attention they deserve. Basically, this is the kind of long-form storytelling this world has always needed. And with that much time, there's really no excuse not to go deeper, richer, and more faithful than ever before. Do I have some reservations? Yes. Am I a bit worried? Yes. But am I also looking forward to the show? Absolutely. Controversy 2, J.K. Rowling. One of the most persistent flashpoints surrounding the new series is the continued creative role of J.K. Rowling. As executive producer, her name is tied closely to the project, and for many fans, that alone raises questions. HBO executives have already addressed the topic directly, with HBO boss Casey Bloy stating, "Harry Potter is not being secretly infused with anything. I think it's pretty clear that those are her personal, political views. She's entitled to them." He also added that while Rowling is very involved in certain aspects of production, the network has emphasized that her personal views will not dictate the direction of the show. That said, her involvement has naturally sparked discussion within both the fandom and the industry. One Redditor said, "Some in the industry were loath to work on the series because they did not support Rowling's stance." And another stated, "Rowling worked closely with the writers. The series enters the cultural battleground where every casting choice and creative decision will be scrutinized through the lens of her increasingly divisive reputation. In short, people are less worried about what Rowling is doing on the production and more about what her presence means to different people. Some see her continued involvement as a reassuring connection to the original creator, while others view it as a reminder of the wider debates that have surrounded her in recent years. That said, the production team seems fully aware of this balancing act, staying focused on adapting the source material faithfully, while letting the creative work, rather than outside discourse, take center stage. Controversy 3. Female Voldemort. The rumor that HBO might gender swap Lord Voldemort has quickly become one of the most heated debates surrounding the reboot. It all started when entertainment scooper Daniel Rickman reported that the production was auditioning both men and women for the role of Voldemort. They're auditioning both men and women for Voldemort, so it's possible we could see a female Voldemort in the Harry Potter series. That single claim was enough to ignite a storm of reactions across Twitter, Reddit, and every major fan forum. On r/leaks and rumors, the responses ranged from frustration to disbelief. This reboot sounds worse every day. Tom, his name is Tom. His damn name is literally Tom Marvolo Riddle. The whole I am Lord Voldemort anagram depends on that. At the heart of it all lies one key concern: book accuracy. In the source material, Voldemort is unambiguously male. His identity as Tom Marvolo Riddle and the iconic I am Lord Voldemort anagram are fundamental to his story. Changing that would mean rewriting core pieces of canon, from the Gaunt family lineage to the orphanage backstory to his symbolic role as Harry's Dark Mirror. Fans have also asked the obvious questions. If Voldemort is female, does the name Tom Riddle stay? Does the anagram change? Do we get an entirely new origin story? Personally, I am not a fan of this, but not all discussion has been negative. A recurring suggestion gaining serious traction online is Tilda Swinton, whose androgynous, almost ethereal screen presence many fans believe could capture Voldemort's unsettling energy without fundamentally changing the character. In fact, the Swinton theory has only intensified in recent weeks, with multiple entertainment outlets and fan accounts circulating claims that she's in talks for the role, though as of now, nothing has been officially confirmed. Meanwhile, early rumors about Cillian Murphy being attached have since been debunked. The actor himself has confirmed he's not involved in the project. Until HBO makes an official announcement, this debate will likely remain one of the defining flashpoints of the entire reboot. Which brings me to perhaps the biggest one. Controversy 4. Black Snape. The casting of Papa Siridu as Severus Snape, perhaps one of the most recognizable characters in the Harry Potter franchise, was officially announced as part of the HBO reboot earlier this year. Almost immediately, the casting choice became a lightning rod for discussion. For many, it wasn't about Siridu's talent, which is widely respected, but about how the decision aligned with the show's repeated promise of being a faithful adaptation. In the original books, Snape is described as having sallow skin, a hooked nose, and greasy black hair. The controversy stems from the fact that Isiridu's portrayal represents a clear visual departure from that description, something many fans see as conflicting with the studio's own description of the remake being faithful. When HBO released its first statement, it emphasized that the series would remain a faithful adaptation of the beloved Harry Potter book series, and for many, faithful means staying true to how the characters were described on the page. And this issue keeps resurfacing because Snape isn't just any character. He's a cornerstone of the entire saga, one whose look and demeanor have become iconic through both the books and Alan Rickman's legendary performance. Changing that image even slightly feels monumental to longtime fans. Add in the show's claim of being a faithful adaptation, and every deviation is magnified tenfold. Others argue that faithfulness should apply to story and personality, not just physical traits, noting that the original films also took liberties. After all, Rupert Grint wasn't tall and lanky like the book version of Ron Weasley. Emma Watson's Hermione lacked her famously large front teeth, and Daniel Radcliffe's eyes weren't green. And many fans have pointed to these examples to argue, in defense of the new Snape, that even the original films strayed from the books. And that's true. But here's the difference. The movies never marketed themselves as faithful adaptations. They simply told the story their way, and fans called them out for it for years. In fact, the original films deviating from the source material was one of the biggest fan criticisms, which is why the decisions coming from the new series feel even more bizarre. They had a rare opportunity to learn from those past missteps, to finally deliver the book-accurate version so many fans have been waiting for, and instead, it seems like they're making the same mistakes all over again. If they had made other unusual casting decisions for some of the other roles, this wouldn't feel so isolated. But instead, Asiodu's casting feels entirely inconsistent, and he's left bearing the weight of that creative dissonance. But for now, that about sums up the present controversies regarding the Harry Potter TV show. What do you guys think? Am I missing anything? Let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and to forget to live